It's 2019, and if you're wondering if you should buy a Model S, if you're in the market for one, well, this is the right video for you, because I am also the audience for it as well, because I'm still thinking about possibly getting out of the Model S despite my pretty bad ownership experience throughout my first three. I'm pretty committed to getting the e-tron in the next few months, but this is still on my mind. It's still a possibility, but nevertheless, if you're in the market for the Model S, there are some pros and cons that I think you should consider, and I'm going to tell you about all of them coming up next. Taking over the world, electrifying the world, E4 Electric! Welcome to E4 Electric, your number one source of unbiased electric car news, and don't forget to click on that subscribe button. That way you will not miss anything moving forward, and most importantly, become a part of this amazing community. All right, so let's talk about the Model S. It is pretty much the very first car that Tesla made on their own, premiered in 2012, and it's been a pretty big success, and the flagship really model all the way up until pretty much now. There are some interesting news that are being coming out about, the pricing and potential battery changes and potential exterior interior changes, and we'll talk about it. But one thing that I have noticed is that the February sales, as estimated by Inside EVs, and I went over these numbers with you guys earlier this week, Tesla only sold 800 of Model S cars in February, and I kind of went back to see, is this a lot, is this little for February, and turns out that they have never sold this little of Model S cars. Even the very first year when they were selling it, 2013 February, right? So the first February they were selling it, they sold more than they sold last month. So the sales look like have been better, obviously. And I know the tax credit has been, cut in half. That could also be a possibility why they are, but at the same time, it is what it is. By the way, most of the pictures I'm going to be showing you guys throughout this and slides, they're all pictures of my cars that I owned before, and the white one I still own. It's in my garage right now. Just FYI, I'm not using any Media Kit pictures today. Just thought it would be kind of fun. All right, so let's talk about positives and negatives if you're deciding in the next few months whether or not you should get yourself a Model S. And I gotta say, this video is a little bit about Model X as well. All right, so before that, of course, I want to remind you that this video and this channel is sponsored by Avanex, the aftermarket accessories for Teslas. 2012 all the way to now, including Model 3. So if you have one, go ahead and browse to the description of this video. There's a discount code for you to save yourselves a few bucks. That's never bad. So go ahead and do that. All right, so let's talk about positives and negatives, as we always do right now. All right, so let's talk about positives. And I gotta tell you, I pretty much have one positive. And for many people, including even myself possibly, it's more than enough. It's just more than enough. So what is it? Well, I believe Tesla Model S is simply the best car on the market, the best passenger car on the market. The reason I kind of have to say passenger is because, I feel like Model X is a little better of the car just because it has a little bit more technology and the wings and some of the other things and self-opening doors as well. But if you're in the market for a sedan, Model S by far is the best car. By the way, I don't mean the best electric car. I mean the best car ever made. So I don't really know what else I could say as far as the as far as positives for a product, simply that it's the best on the market. Now, as you guys know, when I say that, I mean that it's the best car on the market, not necessarily the ownership experience. And, we'll talk about it in the other section. And, I personally had quite a bad one, which probably is on the, a more uncommon side, though there are more and more, of course, issues that are coming out with customer service. But listen, best self-driving features, period, out there. I think a lot of people will agree it's one of the best looking cars. But one of the best tech, the most connected car. The over-the-air updates there's absolutely no equal for that. Tesla supercharging network, also pretty much the only one of the kind where by the size, just by the, obviously it's the same brand. It's not a third party. And of course, the third party ones like Ionity in Europe will work with the CCS charging ports for all models, but right now for the Model 3. Same thing in China. You can charge those cars there and third party networks as well. So by far the biggest charging network. And if you want to talk about all the little things here and there, the largest monitor, the largest screen there on the market, right, which I absolutely love. And really, if you go over almost everything, you will find out that it's best at everything. On top of that, it is consistently innovating, being updated. So it consistently has stayed on top of the food chain as far as I'm concerned. So to me, those are the positives. One, but a very, very powerful one. Just like I said, the list that I have for you as far as the negatives may be actually irrelevant if you are just want to get the best car in the market, period. Well, then that's the one. Now, whether or not you should wait, that's a different story. So let's move on to the negatives, and you'll be able to say which ones you really care about and which ones are just not a big deal for you. But nevertheless, let's move on to that. And the negatives are, just like I said, bit of a list. But first and foremost, it's the price changes. As you know, and there are quite a few things that we probably should mention. One, it is, well, the base price of the Model S have gone up by 15, 16, $17,000. It's just more expensive. The tax credit has been cut in half. It will be cut in half one more time in another few months. In California, I believe the incentive of $2,500. Now you have to qualify for it with your salary, and in California, it's not that easy to qualify for a low salary of $150,000 if you're in the market for this expensive car. So the price is gone up. Secondly, the prices have also changed. As you know, if you bought a 100D just only a few weeks ago, it's now $10,000 less in some cases for some configurations, and therefore you lost that money as a value of a resale value of your car. There's also, full self-driving and autopilot features where people paid for it, hoping that they're getting a deal, and now it looks like they got the worst deal and they're not going to be getting refunds. So, pricing has been an issue and it hasn't settled yet. So you could be buying a Model S right now and then end up saying, oh, I really just lost money. Or I could have, waited for a little bit and bought this for cheaper, or gotten an extra package or an extra feature. So that's an issue. The battery, of course, we know the battery is a bit, I would say, outdated, because the Model 3 has 2170 batteries, and I want to get into it, but it's just better batteries, and they are not putting those batteries in the Model S or the Model X. And that's something that, once again, can be updated any minute now, or any day, or maybe not, and you don't know. So that just hasn't been settled yet. Same thing with interior and exterior. The interior hasn't really been updated ever. And a lot of people like myself actually would wish it would have a more luxurious and fine and well-built interior than it is right now. I don't know if Tesla's going to be going that direction. It doesn't seem that way, but nevertheless, it seems like an update should be happening relatively soon. Same thing with the exterior. They've updated the front nose of the car, and without warning anybody. But a lot of people believe that another refresh is coming, and again, you might buy a car today and it will look very different tomorrow, and therefore will be outdated. Now, here's another one which I think is pretty big. As they just announced the V3 superchargers, it's obvious that not only all of the Model S and Model X cars on the market right now are just not going to be able to charge at the speed rate of V3 superchargers, which will have a top speed of 250 kilowatts. Now, the V2 superchargers will be updated, so Model S and Model X and their software will be updated so they can charge at 145 kilowatt versus 120 right now, but they're still going to be shared. It's really not that much of an improvement, and either because of the batteries or because of the software, or both, Model S, even if you buy it right now, it will not have the benefit of fast charging, which again could change in a few months, and then you can pay for something right now, and in a few months it's going to be much better, and you will end up either losing money or having an outdated car. And again, it's up to you. I'm just letting you know this has been an issue. Now, another thing is, I don't think it's that much of a secret that right now Tesla is all about Model 3. And very soon they're going to be all about Model Y and a pickup truck. Model S has kind of been almost forgotten. There hasn't been that many updates. There hasn't been too many news about it. Even the battery's outdated. So it's just not is just not on the radar, it seems, as far as where technology and efforts are going from Tesla in many ways. And I hate to say this because I've been basically saying how much better Model S is over Model 3, but in many ways, Model 3 is starting to get better than the Model S in some major ways. Before that, I'd say any little things that the Model 3 might be better than the Model S were just not really relevant. But now they are. The V3 supercharging, I would say, on top of my list. And of course, the last one, if I had to say another thing that you guys might want to think about it, is the ownership experience. Now, granted, there's no secret that I had probably one of the worst ownership experience of any car ever. And it could be my bad luck. It could be my high standards of what I believe a luxury car manufacturer should provide as a service, though, not waiting on hold for over an hour to figure out how the feature works that they've discontinued without telling me. I don't think that's really that much to ask, but we can leave that for. But overall, from what I'm seeing in my Model S owners group, which now grown to over 25,000 members, people are not experiencing the service, the ownership experience that most other luxury car owners like BMW and Mercedes and Lexus drivers experience. And that's another thing that hopefully will change in the future. But if you're buying one right now, you don't expect that. You kind of think that you're going to be treated as well as a Mercedes dealership. It's something that you're probably going to be a little bit taken back by, or a lot taken back by, like myself. All right, so we know what the positives are, we know what the negatives are. It's up to you guys to decide. But what should you do? What I'm probably, if I decide not to go with the Audi or another car, and I'll decide to stick for Tesla, I will probably get myself a temporary car, temporary Tesla Model S, until I figure out what is really my best choice is going to be, which will probably come in another year or maybe even two. And what I've noticed is that you can buy a used inventory Model S for pretty cheap. Here's one that I found, like, literally without putting too much effort into this. But this one has under 30,000 miles, and it's pretty much the same price as the standard range Model 3 is, Model Plus, I guess it's called, but still. And you can buy you can find it much cheaper on Tesla.com website. I just saw one with 63,000 miles for $28,000, and don't forget they all have like extended warranty, which is great. But you can also go on the Craigslist and find tons of them under $30,000. Here's one again. I just literally just browsed there for a second, took a screenshot. Here's one with actually under 80,000 miles, which is pretty good. That means you can still get an extended warranty. If they don't have it for Tesla, you can get it from a third party like Accelerate, which I'm hoping is going to be a sponsor very soon of my channel. I think it's a great service. And as you can see, boom, it's 28, and you can negotiate that price. You can't negotiate with Tesla. You can negotiate this price. So this could go maybe as low as $25,000, $26,000. So that's what I would do as far as recommending what to do about the weight. And then I think in another 1 or 2 years, we will know what Model S is going to be about. It's probably going to be about better batteries, V3 capability, CCS plugs, updated interior and exterior, hopefully better customer service, hopefully more settled and easier to understand and live with price. And all of the other incentives that are going to be either in or out. So that's what I would probably recommend. Let me know in the comment section. Did I miss something? Maybe there's another thing that I should consider in the pros or cons section. I'm pretty sure I will update this video relatively soon. Of course, let me not forget and mention one of my newer Patreons, Brandon Reed. Thank you so much for joining my Patreon community. The only place where you can watch me live. But thank you to all of my Patreons for supporting and contributing to this channel. Without you guys, this really would be much tougher, if impossible at all. If you want to join me and join my Patreon community, there's a link in the description of this video. It's very simple, patreon.com/E4Electric. All right, looking forward to your comments. Other than that, see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged.